Yusuf. President Bola Tinubu is assuring that Nigeria would derive a successful economy out of the current situation by adopting a civilized approach towards solving the farmer-herders clashes in the country. The president said this in Brazil as the government takes a step further in the development of the livestock sector in Nigeria. State House correspondent Musbau Wahab tells us more.
The Nigerian delegation on tour to learn the Brazilian experience in livestock production are back on the table with their findings.
Okay, please.
President Bola Tinubu certainly wants a sound footing for the takeoff of a newly established Ministry of Livestock Development. So, learning from the right hand is the watchword as the delegation visited 3 conglomerates here, including JBS, a Brazilian multinational company, largest meat processing enterprise in the world.
Your Excellency, we are convinced that the life sector reform being implemented today has a lot to learn from the Brazilian experience, and the private sector here represented have shown strong commitment to partner along and replicate the successes in Nigeria.
I think we've come to the right place. We've got the right partners. The issue now is how to proceed step by step.
And we'll do our very best to ensure that what has been done in Brazil is replicated in Nigeria.
And to support whatever venture you are driving. But as a state, Niger State, we are providing ourselves as a pilot state. Already we have identified about 1.2 million hectares ready for this production.
What we are trying to do.
The man who sees opportunities in the current challenge in Nigeria's livestock sector obviously has the plans thought out already.
We are solving a problem that afflicted humanity in that part of Africa. Clash between farmers and migrating cow, shoulders and all of that has caused some life and bloodshed. So when there is a modern civilized way to solve those problems and even bring a successful economy out of it.
President Tinubu believes that in only a matter of time, the solution to the sector would also solve another challenge of food security.
Food security is extremely important. As we talk right now, there is hunger. However, there is huge hope, and you are one of those hopes that we're looking at.
Both parties have now agreed to collaborate as expressed in the letter of intent and set to proceed to the first phase of the cooperation to maximize the entire value chain of the sector.
Brazilian captains of industry here who have been part of this engagement today are going to visit Nigeria for exploratory tour to see what's going to happen, select suitable sites where we're going to have suitability of land, fertility of land, availability of bodies of water for irrigation, as well as possible for hydro, as well as growing of corn, sorghum, sweet corn, soybean, as well as ease of transportation to manage the logistics, and then availability of markets.
The key aspect will be that for you to have a successful, livestock industry like he has described, they also need feed. And that feed has to be produced, and that is where the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security will come in.
The foreign partners are expected to visit Nigeria soon for the immediate study tour. From Rio de Janeiro, Musbau, then Wahab, NTA News.
Youth empowerment is the foundation for Nigeria's development strategy and Africa's broader integration goals. Vice President Kashim Shettima, represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, stated this at the Youth Legacy Conference at the State House Banquet Hall, Abuja, where he notes that a unified effort to bridge generational divides in Nigeria is essential, emphasizing the pivotal role the youths play in shaping Nigeria and the continent's future. The theme of the conference is Shaping Africa's Future with African Continental Free Trade Area and Agenda 2063, highlighting the alignment between Nigeria's youth-focused initiatives and Africa's development blueprint.
This transformation into a global commercial powerhouse can only be achieved by opening our doors to the youth. Our vision aligns with that of the energetic Mandela Washington Fellows, whose work across communities in Nigeria and Africa exemplifies volunteerism and leadership at its finest.
Together, we are demonstrating that Africa's strength lies in our unity, in our diversity, and in the unyielding spirit of its people. Let us commit ourselves to meaningful deliberations, actionable outcomes, and lasting collaborations. The future of Africa is not a distant dream.
The Mandela Washington Fellowship has not only transformed the life of over 6,000 alumni across the continent, but has also amplified the voice of the young leaders.
The Vice President commended the Mandela Washington Fellows for their exemplary leadership and service, especially in education, healthcare, and social justice, which serve as an inspiration for generations to come. To legislative matters now, the Chairman Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation, Senator Kenneth Emeka Eze, says the broad vision of the federal government for skills development at all levels of education would significantly reduce youth unemployment in Nigeria. At a public hearing on a bill to establish federal polytechnic, vocational and ICT in Onioke, Ezand, south of Ebonyi State, Senator Eze noted that the institution, when established, would equip the youth to become innovators fit to tackle the challenges of the 21st century.
To thrive in today's competitive job market, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that our young people have access to quality education that prepares them for realities of the workforce.
It's not merely about creating new institutions. It is about nurturing the minds and talents of our citizens.
Our objective is to fortify the teachers' education pipeline, ensuring that educators at all levels are well prepared to mold future generations with knowledge, ethics, and competence.
Stakeholders at the public hearing also made submissions on a bill to establish Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, Owerri, in Imo State, to provide manpower for the education sector.
Some research compared to colleges of education. This change can foster more research activities, contributing to scientific advancement and innovations.
The National Orientation Agency has expressed a commitment to work closely with the National Assembly to ensure adequate implementation of the National Identity Project, having been approved by the Federal Executive Council. Now, this was when the House Committee on National Orientation, Ethics and Values visited the agency to evaluate performance of the 2024 fiscal year. Kenneth Nani reports.
A total of 330 million naira capital budget was approved for the National Orientation Agency in the 2024 fiscal year to carry out its mandate of communicating government's policies, programs, and other activities to the public, especially at the grassroots. A day of an open book has come, and the House of Representatives Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values is asking the necessary questions on the utilization of the funds. The Director General of the agency, Lanre Isaonilu, points to the National Identity Project, housing a number of programs targeted at national reorientation.
We have what we call the citizen codes. That is what the citizens also are going to give back to the country, which has made a promise to us.
And there's a great improvement, coupled with other programs that have been going on within the country. I know that it is not up to what we expected, but at least there is a great improvement.
However, the lawmakers and the agency are on the same page on the need for adequate deployment of a digitalized process for effective operation and national visibility. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly is assuring states, legislature and local government council of its continued support in promoting good governance. This was during a 3-day capacity building organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies for members of Jigawa State Assembly. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
Here are a combination of executive, legislature and local government councils that came together for one objective. They are at ease to acquaint themselves with leadership development, effective oversight mechanisms for promoting transparency, and roles and responsibilities of state legislature in local government autonomy.
I want to believe by the time we have INEC conducting the election of local governments, we can now say we have full autonomy to local governments. In this regard, therefore, the various modules for this workshop have been carefully selected to ensure that they cover all the fields.
Also in focus is community engagement and networking for sustainable rural development, as well as synergy among federal, state and local governments in Nigeria.
I urge you all to actively participate in the discussion, share your experience and learn from one another.
I know the role of both parties. I'm half-baked executive now. I'm a full-baked legislator. So I know the importance of the two arms of government.
Participants are expected to cascade the knowledge acquired for optimal utilization at the grassroots. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Now, motorists and travelers plying the Asaba-Benin Expressway are appealing to the federal government to expedite plans to fix the failed portions of the road. Ngozi Omokwede reports that the condition is forcing road users to violate traffic rules in a bid to scale through.
The Asaba-Benin Expressway is one of the federal government roads linking most of the southwestern states to the east. This road is always busy during the Yutai, but few weeks to Christmas, travelers and motorists are becoming apprehensive as the Ezenei axis in Asaba is now impassable. Commuters say there may be no way in and out of the east if something is not done urgently.
The road, almost every week, trucks normally fall here or that junction of Ezenei is too bad and is too wrong. We are pleading to this federal government to come to the rescue of Delta.
This one don't scatter here. No road to go. Some don't say almost 1 week for here. Come here, they can't look after this road. Now they can't do the road now.
This period is we are heading towards the Xmas period, where people are traveling from different areas, coming in and going out. Look at the road is bad.
But today the story is different as the deplorable conditions of the road is gaining attention.
I beg I take government, I beg men come help us. Shuttle bus now they suffer for this road, no work. You go carry passenger, you go carry passenger, fully shut down before you go come out for where you go drop passengers.
Make them work out for us so that this season no go dey too hard for people.
The people's desire is that the pace of work be increased as Christmas is few weeks away. In Asaba, Ngozi Mokwede, NTA News.
Let's now join Ngozi in Asaba. Hello, Ngozi. Can you give us an update on the progress of work on the expressway so far?
Presently, here in the Benin Asaba Expressway, 3 months back when we came to this place, vehicles were stuck for more than a week. They couldn't move because of the deplorable state of the road. But when we came in this morning, we could see with our eyes and through the lens of the camera as well that they have started working. We saw the things that they needed to use to start doing the job. And this place I am standing presently used to be a very terrible place. Vehicles couldn't access this particular part of the road. But today there is improvement compared to how it used to be. although some persons who spoke to me before now told me that the federal government, the contractors, all the people who needed to do the job need to expedite action because Christmas is closed. Christmas is just a few weeks from now, and if this road is not being done, it's going to be a difficult issue for people traveling. Like if you're coming in from Onitsha or you're going from Benin to down to the east, this is the only route that you can take down to that particular destination. So they are appealing to the federal government to tell the contractor to hasten up and ensure that the road is done. I have Mr. Desmond here, who lives within this axis. He has something to say. Mr. Desmond, a few seconds, please. Don't worry.
As you can see, the road is very bad, and the contractors that are working there, they are not serious. Sometimes they come like for over 3 to 4 days now. They just come, they pack their trucks, abandon their materials here. People can't even make use of the road. If you look at the environment right now, it's not conducive for anybody. Someone cannot even stand here.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's hopeful that soon the roads will be put in use.
Indeed, Ngozi, thank you. We hope the road will be put in use as the festive period approaches. Thank you so much. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it will continue to ensure aircraft and passenger safety with a non-compromised stance on the aviation safety regulations and standards. Aliu Kabir tells us more.
Within the aviation space, passengers' comfort and safety are paramount, which in many instances, air travelers decry on the number of issues including adequate response to the flight delays and cancellations and poor customer service. Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says the agency remains committed towards enhancing safety standards for the betterment of airlines and passengers in order to enhance the industry's operations in line with the best practices.
At the terminals, sometimes when passengers become unruly, it's because of lack of communication. I also understand the fact that previous experiences with unruly passengers scares some of these airline staff because those ones at the terminal are not responsible for the disruptions. However, the airline, as a matter of regulation, owes passengers adequate information and timely too. Where it doesn't happen, I would hold the airline responsible.
The agency advised passengers to resolve issues within the airlines. If it doesn't work, then obtain and fill a complaint form from the NCAA Customer Protection Desk at the airports or download it from their website. The director said NCAA, under the leadership of Acting Director Captain Chris Najomo, is strategic for the transformation of the industry to a global standards in line with the agenda of the President's administration. The authority, therefore, is urging all stakeholders, including passengers, to always visit the NCAA's website for updates towards improving safety. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
In our first round on Nationwide, let's join Jennifer Igwe in Lagos. Hello, Jenny.
Thank you, Jumai. Now, to better integrate restorative justice into the child rights law, there is need to strengthen transparent and inclusive justice service delivery that meets the needs of all Nigerians. Policymakers and critical stakeholders in the judiciary sector emphasized this at a one-day sensitization workshop on the best approach in handling cases. Diana Ajale reports.
In a complex society like Nigeria, faced with several challenges, the need to strengthen the judicial system is paramount. This is what this program, organized by Lagos State Ministry of Justice Restorative Center, in collaboration with some international organizations, aims to achieve through sensitizing lawyers and critical stakeholders. Chief Judge, as well as Commissioner for Justice, Lagos State, described restorative justice as more than a mechanism, but a better tool for solving disputes amicably.
This conversation is very apt at this time when the congestion of courts is in the front corner. of criminal justice system.
It is also a way of empowering marginalized voices within our society with a view to pave the way for healing, justice, and peace.
The stakeholders meeting serves as a platform to identify gaps in effective service delivery and chart a way forward to fully realize the potential of restorative justice.
Restorative justice reinforces the core values of empathy, fairness, and reconciliation, which are at the heart of our legal and social frameworks.
And these stories remind us that RJ is more than a legal process. It is a tool for healing, it is a tool for growth, it is a tool for transformation.
The first has to do with the criminal justice reform and justice service delivery. The second is access to justice for women, children, persons with disabilities, and of course victims or survivors of sexual and gender-based violence.
The workshop was later broken into sections, where panelists gave insights on best practices. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Popularizing and transmitting the rich cultural heritage of Africa to children and youth via digitization will go a long way in preserving and sustaining the identity of the African child. This is the thrust of discussions by stakeholders at a forum in Lagos. Olumide Egutola has more.
Empower local artists and creators.
Potential Africa future leaders, demonstrating traits of future world leaders in the art of public speaking, cultural dance, poetry, and other spheres of life.
Even with the advancement of technology day by day, our culture should not be sidelined. We should not sweep our culture under the carpet.
Although most people don't like showing their culture because they feel always archaic and all, but I feel we should focus more on the dressing because the dressing really depicts more about culture.
The Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC, seeks to sustain and improve arts and culture among the young generations with the theme, Bridging Heritage and Innovation, Unleashing the Creative Potential of the African Child through Technology and Cultural Education.
We want to see clubs, cultural education clubs. We want to see apps that promote and also have the African look. You know, you want to be able to watch cartoons that showcase what we look like. We need to be able to also feed data into the artificial intelligent world that represents the African people, so that when young people also are searching and looking for things online, they see themselves.
We are teaching these kids how to fuse technology and culture so that they can promote their, our indigenous cultures and behaviors through technology.
The display of different works of art by CBAC is part of efforts to increase the awareness of Africa culture and heritage among the students.
Sporty TV. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
Joining us in Makudi. Finding lasting solutions to the violent conflicts between Benue communities and herders has over the years defied solutions. It is to resolve the lingering issues, proffer solutions, and create harmonious relationship that Operation Wild Stroke has continued to embark on peace meetings with the various parties. Blessing Omeche Ibute reports.
The violent conflicts between Benue communities and herders have persisted, resulting to the death of thousands, destruction of property, and rendering many homeless. Adopting a non-kinetic approach to resolve the conflict, the Operation Wild Stroke, led by its force commander, Brigadier General Louis Lepdong, has held some meetings with relevant stakeholders from both parties. Recently, a meeting was convened between Agatu and Fulani communities to broker peace. This meeting has yielded positive results as peace is gradually returning to the affected communities as those displaced are returning to their abandoned homes. The latest meeting seeks to further consolidate on these gains and extend to other communities in Benue State.
We think that engaging the various groups is one of the approaches that we can adapt to bring peace to Benue State.
The interventions we are having in Agatu have proven that it's possible
to achieve peace with peace-building engagements.
Kuma mu Fulani mun riga mu yi niyya da wannan zaman lafiya mun gode ma Allah.
This time around we are already to see peace reign in Benue State.
Tunda mun ga har mun samu zama da gwamnati na Benue State.
Because of your sit together with the governor of Benue State, peace governor.
Force Commander Operation Wild Stroke, Brigadier General Louis Lebdon appealed for sustained peace for development.
I've come here to seek truth and seek peace. Now please don't be tired before me again from that meeting.
The meeting held behind closed doors lasted for several hours. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
The Benue State government says it is ready to partner any government or corporate body to encourage the capacity of the state in all endeavors. Governor Hyacinth earlier gave the assurance when he received a delegation of the Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy on an inspection visit to the state.
The delegation of the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy is in the state for final assessment ahead of the proposed 12th National Council of Communications. Permanent Secretary in the ministry who led the delegation, Farouk Yusuf, noted that the team is satisfied with the facilities and arrangements put in place by the Benue State government ahead of the 12th National Council of Communication.
Part of this visit is to allow us to have discussions with the team from the state as regards to transport and logistics of coming here, because we want Benue's council meeting to be the best.
Governor Hyacinth earlier, who commended the team for their diligence in the assessment visit, emphasized that the state government remains grateful to host the digital conference owing to its numerous opportunities. The governor assured the delegation that the state government remains resolute in ensuring that all necessary logistics, including transport and accommodation, are adequately taken care of.
What you have embarked on is what we pray for our own youth, for them to have this renewed spirit on a new phase of economy in the ICT. I know that your presence here is going to put us on the national radar, and it's going to double our efforts as well and deepen it.
The date for the commencement of the 12th National Council of Communications is to be communicated by the delegation after due deliberations. In Makudi, Elias, Etiaf, NTA News.
And that's our beat from Makudi. We return to Jume in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you so much. And for more on security, in view of the dynamic nature of the security challenges facing the nation, the Nigerian Army is poised to ensure that all operational, administrative and logistics requirements are addressed through needs assessment and efficient use of funds to effectively improve operational capabilities to tackle the security challenges facing the nation. This is to ensure that the personnel are provided with the necessary platforms to perform effectively in all its operations. In its message to the participants at the 2024 Directorate of Procurement Fourth Quarter Seminar, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, called for a collaborative effort to tackle the myriads of threats facing the nation.
Security challenges facing our country demand a call to all Nigerians to forge a formidable team spirit to tackle the security issues. The Nigerian Army is intensifying its collaborative efforts with the services and other security agencies to decisively address these threats.
The Nigerian Army procurement system focused on the acquisition of new capabilities and platforms, provision of operational and logistics items, construction of accommodations and infrastructures, as well as the maintenance of existing structures and equipment.
The seminar with the theme Adapting to Nigeria's Economic Fluctuations in Defense Procurement, Options for the Nigerian Army, is aimed at assuring procurement practice to tackle insecurity in Nigeria's bid to scale through. Now, there is a setback in the ongoing repair of Ahioda-Yenogwa transmission line, which was previously vandalized, as vandals again pulled down 3 towers with 1/3 of conductor stolen. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in a statement indicates that local security has been engaged at Ula Ikata in Ahioda East local government area to secure the site until repairs are completed. Also, the line will be energized from the Ahioda end as a preventive measure, while efforts to replace the stolen conductor are currently underway. Despite challenges posed by difficult terrain and flooding, TCN states that the restringing of the Ahioda-Yenogwa line is approximately 85% completed. Earlier this month, vandals attacked transmission towers in the Okada and Ofuso communities along the Benin-Egbin and Benin-Omotosho transmission lines, with a total of 31 towers affected. TCN underscores the urgent need to combat the growing problem of vandalism and theft affecting Nigeria's power infrastructure. It calls on the public to support efforts to address these crimes, which have significantly hampered the expansion and stability of the national grid. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, has rallied the support of stakeholders in the judicial sector towards driving judicial reforms for sustainable socio-economic growth and development in the country. This was at the Network of Justice Reform Teams conference organized by International IDEA in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Justice, held in Ilorin, Kwara State. Aisha Abubakar Yahya has the report.
The Federal Ministry of Justice and Anti-Corruption Program 2 ROLAC brought actors in the justice system together to drive the justice sector reforms for improved justice delivery in the country.
We're all ministers in the Temple of Justice. Why don't we come together? You know, we have divergence and convergence of views. There are some views that one will hold that may not hold water unless we come together and, you know, explain to ourselves.
We're hoping that at the end of this session of the Justice Sector Reform Teams, they would come up with a critical set of actions.
I have confidence that the JSRT will address all pending issues on judicial reforms from a position of knowledge and patriotism.
We need to deploy more technology in order for the justice system to be efficient and to be effective.
Judges from the various states of the Federation, members of the bar and other critical stakeholders in the justice system formed the bulk of participants at the conference. Over the years, ROLAC and the Federal Ministry of Justice have hosted Network of Justice Reform Teams conferences, which have engendered a wide range of reforms, including the adoption of administration of criminal justice laws by the 36 states of the Federation. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
Enugu is our next stop, and Chika Okori is standing by. Hello, Chika.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Enugu Network Center. The federal government has restated its commitment to ending all forms of insecurity in the southeast and cross-river states of the country. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Baduru Abubakar, said this in an engagement forum with heads of security agencies and stakeholders at the 82 Division Nigerian Army, Enugu. Chegono Arrow reports.
Received on arrival by the GOC 82 Division, Air Officer Commanding Ground Training Command, Nigerian Air Force, top military and government officials, the minister noted that it was in Enugu at the instance of the president, who is determined to find lasting solutions to the security challenges bedeviling the zone. He congratulated heads of security agencies and leaders of the zone on the successes so far recorded, while calling for increased synergy.
I'm really very happy with the outcome of the meeting, and I'm going to report to the president, and I'm sure if we follow through on all the advices and the plans and implement them very well, we will see the end of insecurity in the southeast.
Head Joint Military Task Force in the Southeast Zone, codenamed Operation Udoka, and GOC 82 Division, highlighted the efforts and gains so far made in securing the zone.
If you recall, last year was the first time that Christmas was celebrated at that magnitude. We are also doing the same thing this time around, so every Indigo from wide and far can come home and celebrate the Christmas in their houses.
Stakeholders applauded the federal government's novel all-inclusive security initiative, which they said will provide the much-needed actionable intelligence for rooting out insecurity completely in the zone.
We openly spoke to ourselves, spoke to the minister. He heard us, and I'm very sure some of the areas we touched about is going to respond to it effectively.
We lend our voices to ending insecurity. It was wonderful.
In Enugu, Chiegono Aro, NTA News.
More than 150 youths in the Idemili North and South Council areas of Anambra State have benefited from technological training in the production of biogas for domestic use. The program, organized by the National Biotechnology Development Agency, was facilitated by the member representing Idemili North and South Federal Constituency. Uchenna Nwokoye has details.
With the increasing cost of liquefied natural gas, LNG, otherwise known as cooking gas, beyond the reach of many Nigerians, experts are seeking alternative source of green energy for domestic utilization.
You are now left with one gas, methane.
This training is on the latest discoveries, a local technology that generates non-pressured gas through degradable waste for domestic utilization.
To a very large extent, biogas is taking over. And now, for the fact that the resources you need for biogas are actually waste.
So with this method now, you can see that once the gas is available, you can use it to produce a lot of things in a short period of time.
Facilitator of the training and a member representing Idemili North and South Federal Constituency, Uche Harris Okonkwo, who was represented, said the program is to empower the use of his constituency on the economic potentials of biogas.
It's a 1 in a million program funded by looking at the biotechnology.
And then I count ourselves and our town blessed and honored to be considered among the people that we have this type of training.
Beneficiaries are to be empowered with startup funds. From Eziowele in Idemili North local government area, Uchenna Nwokoye, NTA News.
That's our
You're still watching Nationwide on the NTA, and welcome to Ibadan. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has performed the groundbreaking ceremony of the upgrade of moribund 3,250 hectares Erua farm settlement to an agribusiness hub. On completion, the project is expected to put Ibarapa axis of Oyo State on the global agricultural map and create thousands of jobs for youth across the state. Ayomiko Ajibola tells us more.
This $40 million public-private development investment that will change the agricultural landscape of Erua, Ibarapa, and Oyo State in general, when completed, will have a crop and livestock production center, 15 to 20 processing center, a state-of-the-art agribusiness training center, a mechanization and equipment learning center, an early generation and seed production center, and an eco-resource center that will put Erua on the world map.
What you can do for me is to make the investors feel welcome. Support them, and they will create jobs for our youth.
Others who spoke at the occasion, including the Director General, Nigeria African Development Bank, Dr. Abu Kamal, lauded Governor Makinde for resuscitating the moribund farm settlement and putting the state on the path of agribusiness.
The Erua Agribusiness Industrial Hub initiative, which has come to reality, is very, very consistent with the African Development Bank's approach to rural and economic transformation.
We need to focus on industrial agriculture. It's not just about crop and livestock production, but also about developing the ecosystem that responds to all aspects of value chain.
They urged the government to equally enhance microfinance bank to give financial support for more farmers. From Erua, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Acquisition of leadership and entrepreneurial skills have been identified as core solutions to the challenges of economic instability in the country. This was brought to the fore at a project management and leadership summit in Oyo. Adebola Agbaje has the report.
The organizer of the Leadership and Project Management Skills Acquisition Summit, Yetunde Adeshile, who identified lack of skills acquisition among the youth as the root cause of unemployment in the country, said the training was a means of giving back to the society.
I'm very passionate about, impacting the next generation. Positively inspiring them to rise to their call, inspiring them to rise to the challenge, all the challenges that we have in our nation. It takes a lot of us to build Nigeria.
Take this opportunity to research more and to look into it holistically and see where you can benefit out of it. When you have a very good plan in anything you are doing, 99.9% you have a very good outcome.
Participants speak on their achievements at the summit.
She told her story and she also shared some key insights. And another part that stood out for me was the fact that people got to ask questions. Yeah, I'm sure that some people had had that question for a long time, but now they had the opportunity to speak to experts that were able to answer those questions.
I've been looking for much more knowledge to actually start to become a project manager, and she has given us a lot of value.
I'm going to also inspire people and to let them see the essence of how planning is important in project management.
Summit aimed at empowering the youth is expected to be a continuous process.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide continues as we rejoin Jummai in Abuja.
Thank you, Kemi. Moving on. The library shelves for international property owners for accessibility of the public for knowledge and research purposes in the field of consumer law and competition in Nigeria is gaining momentum. This is coming following the latest launch of a book titled Competition, Law and Consumer Protection in Nigeria as a means of preserving healthy competition. Maria Ado Zakari reports.
The Nigeria commercial space is usually a beehive with demand and supply as a major determinant factor of the production chain, leaving the function of services to the seller's price and customers' purchasing power. And in this setting, sometimes frictions might arise, leaving a huge gap for unhealthy competition to prevail.
If consumers are not aware of competition law, they may see what is a violation of competition law, but they don't even know that it is a violation. The recent example, which we all know of, is the agitation around the Dangote refineries and the prospect of creating a monopoly that may be unfair to business practices.
It aligns with the FCCPC's commitment to public education and advocacy. The service of man.
But this compendium by Okunache Oga, tilted competition law and consumer protection in Nigeria, is changing the narrative. This 10 chapters and 326-page book also gave invaluable insights into legal frameworks, policies and theories undermining the competition law and consumer protection, as well as provide practical guides for lawyers and regulators.
I thought it expedient and necessary to fill in that gap by writing this book. So the book is an amalgam of both the consumer protection laws and the rules and regulations guiding businesses.
So it's a contribution to the body of knowledge, and we hope that people will take advantage of this and read something.
The academic work is also aimed at empowering businesses and individuals to navigate the complex landscape of competition and consumer rights in Nigeria, in compliance with Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018. In Abuja, Maria Ado Zakari, NTA News.
And experts in information and communications technology are advocating robust data and cybersecurity measures in the country to safeguard sensitive information, which are often breached through unauthorized access. This was a unanimous recommendation at the 12th edition of the Nigeria ICT Impact Forum, where federal government agencies, including the Nigerian Communications Commission, Nigeria Data Production Commission, Digital Reality and strategic partners in the digital economic space expressed concerns on rising cases of cyber attacks and consequences for individuals and organizations. They made a case for a government-led approach to build frameworks that encourage professionals to strengthen data protection, cloud infrastructure, and cybersecurity. At this time of increasing reliance on the internet and digital services. This, they believe, will safeguard individual privacy and enforce standards, noting the importance of securing cloud infrastructure through partnerships with reputable cloud service providers.
They are likely, the connectivity is being likened to the physical highway structure. So that is a good focus.
There are government agencies that are around everywhere, that all they need to do is to just tell them to support this kind of an initiative.
Strengthening the industry from both infrastructure side, cyber security, and then ensuring that whatever has been achieved is not lost, right? It's one thing to build the industry, it's another thing to strengthen it and make it continue to grow.
The theme for the 12th edition of the forum is strengthening data protection, cloud infrastructure, and cybersecurity through. And sports update with Gift Judge is next.
The National Sports Commission has announced Enugu State as the host for the 23rd edition of the National Sports Festival after a top management meeting. The co-city state emerged top from a competitive bidding process, and the state is set to deliver a world-class event. Before Enugu State takes center stage, the 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival is set to hold in January 2025 in Ogun State.
Enugu State is one of the states that has already been prepared in terms of facilities. And obviously 3 months or 2 months to put together a cultural display, something that showcases Enugu at the closing ceremony in Abuja.
In basketball, FIBA Africa has announced venues for the 2025 Basketball Africa League for the conference finals and the playoffs. The Africa Basketball Governing Body picked Kigali, Rwanda, Dakar, Senegal, Rabat, Morocco, and Pretoria, South Africa for the quality of their basketball facilities to host major events. This will be the first time Basketball Africa League will be going to Rabat, Morocco, and it will be the first time the finals will be played in South Africa. In football, Nigeria's representative in the ongoing CAF Women's Champions League, Edo Queens, will this Friday in Morocco take on Massa of Egypt in the third-place match of the 2024 CAF Women's Champions League. Edo Queens lost out in the semi-finals against TP Mazembe of DR Congo, while Massa of Egypt lost to Asfa of Morocco. Edo Queens and Massa of Egypt have scores to settle as both teams met at the group stage and played out a goalless draw. Interestingly, both sides beat the former champions Mamelodi Sounders of South Africa at the group stage. The third-place match comes up 6 p.m. Nigerian time. Still talking football, ahead of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, following the completion of the qualifiers, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced former Cote d'Ivoire captain Yaya Toure as the new competition ambassador. The 24 qualified countries were confirmed on Wednesday after the last round of qualifiers. Yaya Toure led Cote d'Ivoire to the AFCON title in 2015. The former Barcelona star also won the CAF African Player of the Year on 4 occasions, which makes him one of the most decorated African players of all time. With Sports Update, Gift George, NTA News.
That's NTA Nationwide. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yeso.